Welcome to Hungry Books. Please subscribe. Our culture celebrates the myth of the self-made man. If we meet an excellent mathematician, we tend to assume his talent for logical thinking is, at its core, something he was born with. The same goes for professional athletes' agility, musicians' sense of rhythm, or computer programmers' problem-solving skills. This is because we naturally tend to attribute an individual's success or achievement to his or her own efforts and innate abilities. We place such a high value on individuals and their self-made achievements that we often willfully ignore other factors. That self-made man is a myth, a very, very popular myth. Once you reach a certain threshold, increased abilities no longer help you succeed. World-class mastery of anything demands around 10,000 hours of practice, no easy feat. Though talent is certainly a key ingredient in the recipe for success, hard work seems to be at least as important, if not more so. Bill Gates spent a lot of time learning computer programming. The Beatles spent a lot of time on stage. Though they were also extraordinarily talented individuals, it was an extensive practice that made them truly world-class. To achieve world-class mastery at anything, studies show you need to spend a critical minimum amount of time, around 10,000 hours, practicing. Of course, not everyone has the opportunity to spend this much time practicing something. First of all, you need the opportunity to start early so you can get in as much practice as possible and secure a head start on the competition. Also, you or your family has to have the resources to support you. It's hard to find time for work or chores when you're spending 40 hours a week trying to become a world-famous violinist. Depending on what you want to do, you might also need access to expensive state-of-the-art equipment. Encouragement from family, friends, coaches, teachers and kind strangers you meet on the street helps too. If you're lucky, like Bill Gates or the Beatles, you'll have all these things. However, many people don't, so they effectively lack the opportunity to achieve world-class mastery in their chosen fields. The month you're born in can have a huge effect on what you achieve. Your relative age, how old you are in comparison to others in a developmental group, can make or break you. The kids with this unfair age advantage get more encouragement and opportunities to improve at an impressionable stage of their development. This is called a cumulative advantage, and it's the reason professional Canadian hockey players have birthdays in the first half of the year more often than in the second. You might be thinking, hey, no big deal, I'm not a hockey player. I'm not even Canadian. But relative age can create unequal opportunities in any area that uses annual cutoff dates to divide people into age-based groups. Most sports leagues have them. Another place that has them: schools. Thus, the 5-year-old whose short attention span inspires her to take a crayon to her spelling homework can grow up thinking she's a problem child. At the same time, the calm almost 6-year-old she sat next to grows up to go to Harvard. How you're brought up can radically impact how successful you become. After you reach a skills threshold, natural abilities stop mattering in your quest for success. A far more important factor is whether you have practical intelligence. Practical intelligence is procedural knowledge, knowing how to interpret and work social situations to get what you want, in other words, knowing who to ask what, and when. The ability to interact with and negotiate with authority figures can help inch people closer to their goals. This knowledge is not innate. Sociologist Annette Lareau found that wealthier parents instill in their children a feeling of entitlement more often than lower-class parents do. In general, they do this by paying more attention to their children, or by at least providing their children with enriching activities that promote intellectual growth. They teach their children to demand respect and to customize a situation to suit their needs. In other words, they teach their kids practical intelligence. By contrast, poorer parents are often intimidated by authority and let their children follow a pattern of natural growth. There's less pushing, prodding and encouraging than in wealthier families. This means children from poorer households are less likely to be taught practical intelligence, which radically decreases their chances for success. The year you're born in can make or break you. Unfair advantages in life can come from very unlikely sources. Consider several big-name software billionaires, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and co-founder of Sun Microsystems, Bill Joy. All of them were born with an extraordinary gift for logical reasoning as well as ambition, practical intelligence and opportunities to practice their skills. The mystery of the wildly successful solved. Not so fast. It's not just that they had opportunities, it's that they had a precise series of opportunities that let them get their 10,000 hours of computer programming practice in at exactly the right time in history. In order to capitalize on the rapidly changing software industry, they had to be born at just the right time, late enough to have access to a new computer model that made it easier to work out programming bugs, but not so late that others could get to their ideas first. They also had to be just the right age when starting their companies. If they had been much older, they might have been more interested in settling down rather than in taking the huge risks that allowed them to succeed. Not every successful software tycoon was born in the years between 1954 and 1956, but the fact that many were suggests that being in the right place at the right time matters. Where you come from, geographically and culturally, can have a particularly large effect on what you achieve. You're probably familiar with the stereotype that Asians are good at math. When children learn the words for numbers in Asian languages, they automatically learn to add up numbers too, thus developing their mathematical aptitude early on. Feudal systems in Europe left farmers little to show from their work. They had to turn over most of their crops to ruthless landlords, but such systems were not prevalent in Asia, so rice farming offered a clear relationship between effort and reward. As a result, a culture of hard work developed. One particularly illuminating age-old saying was, "No one who can rise before dawn 360 days a year fails to make his family rich." What does this have to do with math? Well, like rice farming, math is hard. You might spend an hour trying to figure out why you keep getting -17 when the answer is supposed to be 19,473.6. Research has shown that students in Western countries give up on math problems far sooner than students in Eastern countries do. So, yes, Asians are generally good at math. It's part of their cultural legacy. People with ancestors who worked in rice paddies tend to inherit an attitude towards work that is particularly helpful when learning math. This tendency persists, even generations after families have left rice paddies behind. If we recognize the importance of cultural legacy, we can help more people work towards success, and prevent failure. If we recognize the reasons behind uneven playing fields, we can create more opportunities for people to succeed. The processes we use to whittle fledgling talent into success stories are rarely effective or efficient, resulting in only a few successful outliers. The same goes for schools. Instead of sitting back and allowing the children of wealthier parents have access to more opportunities, we can create programs like the South Bronx's KIPP, Knowledge is Power program, Academy, a rigorous middle school open to students from this extremely low-income area. Although there are no exams or admission requirements, and although most students come from disadvantaged backgrounds, KIPP manages to get 84% of its pupils to perform at or above their grade level in math by the time they finish 8th grade. Extraordinary success is the result of an often unlikely series of opportunities, lucky breaks and occurrences that combine to create the precise conditions that allow such achievement. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.